Nature is mankind's greatest teacher. To ignore her, underestimate her, or fail to prepare for her periodic wrath means widespread death and destruction. The 2017 Atlantic hurricane season was the costliest in recorded history, with 17 named storms and 10 hurricanes, 3 of which being Category 5 monsters. Anguilla, the British Virgin Islands, Barbuda, and the nature isle of Dominica were all decimated. Untold Stories was on the ground days after Hurricane Maria's passage. The stories, file footage, and post-disaster reality paint a paralyzed picture of 70,000 people at the mercy of generous neighbors and international agencies. Can insurance companies, revised construction methods, and a proactive government nurse Dominica to prosperity? This time is Dominica's, but what are the lessons for the 7,000 islands which lay helpless in the most active hurricane zone in the world? In this episode, we examine these, plus the accounts from the survivors, in Untold Stories, Category 5. It sits at 15 degrees north, 61 degrees west. It was christened White Tickabully by the native Indian population, which means tall is her body. It was the last island in the Caribbean to be colonized. Its 73,000 residents are spread over the 290 square miles of mostly mountainous, green, lush, rugged terrain, and are kept hydrated by an unprecedented 365 rivers and 8 breathtaking waterfalls. Life expectancy here is 74 years, as at September 17, 2017. Dominica is classed as a developing nation with a per capita income of US $7,356 annually, and is marketed the world over as the nature isle of the Caribbean.
Use here the Meteo France radar site over on Martinique, and this
on September 18th, the world's attention, satellite imaging, and weather reports focused attentively on the Commonwealth of Dominica.
Not done just yet. Really threatening here, main threat
as the 13th named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season was set on a trajectory of 15 degrees north, 61 degrees west. On September 18th, Maria underwent explosive intensification, doubling its sustained winds from 80 miles per hour to 160 miles per hour, becoming a Category 5 hurricane just 15 miles east-southeast of Dominica.
As you know, we continue to be...
The island's disaster preparedness apparatus kicked into high gear with hopes of the best, yet realistic fears of mortal impact.
I want to say to Dominicans that this is not a time for heroism. This much water in Dominica is dangerous, given our terrain, and therefore persons should not wait for something to happen in order to take action. The next few hours should be placed on cleaning up around the house and your properties, rather than stockpiling weeks of food and other supplies. All of the health systems are in place, and we have sufficient and adequate supplies to treat our citizens if the need arises. We have prepared all of the necessary legal instruments In the event, we have to declare a curfew in either the whole country or parts of the country. Do not wait for the river to overflow its banks and then you try to cross the river or go through the flooded streets.
Granny not on TV.
The sea was raging as far as above my knees. And I believe in safety. And the school was mentioned for one of the safety grounds, so I took my family to the school.
You okay?
By 3 p.m., the skies opened up. The winds angered the oceans, and cell phones around Dominica captured megapixels of impending danger, while residents hunkered down for the inevitable.
We didn't come here during the storm, we came a few hours before. So getting here was like a difference to us because we have 2 children who have never been through a storm before. To them, it's only the rain falling and a lot of wind.
Be careful there, boss man. Be careful there. Watch the light.
Our home actually worked as a hurricane shelter because our neighbors to the left, neighbor to the right being family, and even people while the storm was going on actually seek shelter at my home. Okay? But that storm was something out of the movies, man.
293 buildings all around the island were listed as hurricane shelters, all with designated shelter managers and assistants. Marcus Timothy and Malou Williams were listed for this shelter. But considering the first recorded Category 5 hurricane ever to hit Dominica was mere miles away, self-preservation overshadowed first responder responsibilities.
I have a children with me right now, and this one is actually 7 months old, and we had a hectic night that night. That's where we were. The night. You had all the people in the other rooms, but I mean like people in charge to say the home, like the disaster preparedness people. At least somebody could at least pass to see how we're doing, because they had a lot of children. Not me alone had a train, my sister had train, other people had train too.
By 5 p.m., brave residents kept the world up to date with homemade news bulletins.
So I'm doing another update. As you can see, again, a lot more rain than the last time I did a video. Definitely the winds have picked up, and you can see the torrents of rain and wind. And yeah, so I think the last update we had was that we were just about 2 hours out from, you know, the stronger parts of the storm. So wow, we are beginning to experience you know, Maria. So
We were just getting everything else ready if it had any extra piece of log in the yard, making sure it's secure, making sure all the water was away, because they were actually locking off water 8 p.m. that same night. So we did all of that. My neighbor, I went and got him like 6:30. because the wind really started to get more intense, something that we're not too used to in Melville. Even as living in front of the Atlantic, it really started to get funny. Called out to my neighbor, that's my family, my cousins, they also came in. Made a little bush tea, we sat down like any other family would during a little hurricane or a storm, what we thought we would have expected, but that was just the beginning. From 7:30, 7:45, at that time I figured it was not anything that I would already experience in my life. So I told everyone, be ready for or expect the unexpected. 8:30, 8:45, just waiting it out. Things start to get real funny. The first roof to go was my neighbor's to my right. His entire roof came off and went on the other side of the road from my house. We were actually looking at the storm from the front door. We have a back door and a front door. The back door facing the Atlantic, the front door facing the airport. So being at the front door, you were not getting the direct force of the wind, but you would see everything that was coming over the house. So we're peeping through the front door, looking at all the drama, freight, debris flying, lightning flashing. By that time, the electricity was already off. So we're just sitting, waiting it out. What, 9:30, 9:45. It's like the storm was shifting gears. At that time, it was starting to talk. It's like, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? The back door sounded like it started to crack. We had to get 2 pieces of strip put across it. The window sounded like it started to move. We got the washing machine put next to it. The 2 pieces of logs across, 2 pieces of strips across the back door wasn't enough. We had to take our bed and put it standing upright to the door. That still wasn't enough. We were still pushing the door, actually cracking it from the center. So we had to take an entire fridge and put on top of the bed. And then the washing machine take 2 chairs and pack it on top of it so the window wouldn't come in.
All of a sudden the water started to rise, and then that place the water reached right up to my neck. The burrata was right up there, man. I was scrambling because everything, the fridge, the washing machine, table, everything was floating like when you're in the moon in space, man. And that was really scary, man. I had some important things. I had to fly that and try to get on top of the table, to go on top of the table. And the water just kept climbing. And fortunately, I didn't open the door. Because had I opened the door, I wouldn't be there to talk. Because that water was that high and with heavy power going down. My vehicle was there, it was washed away, it went into the sea.
We're trying to prevent water from coming in through this door here. And so we use almost all our sheets and clothes, and God has been very good to us, I have to say, because while we were doing this, the ceiling and the roof just fell on us while we were standing right in front of the glass windows. As we ran to the corridor, the glass windows just shattered and all the glass just went that direction. So had we been there, we'd have all been killed.
We left here about 6 o'clock. And we went to the hurricane shelter down below, just below here, and it was very scary. When it was about 8 o'clock, and the hurricane shelter in itself was it was even worse than where we were living, because all the place broke down on us. We had to get cover, get to the toilet area. And it had about 50 of us in the hurricane shelter. And all the louvers to the hurricane shelter, everything rolled off. When it was about 8, 9 o'clock, about that time, and everybody had to get cover, get to the hurricane shelter, squeeze in the toilet just as herring. Yeah, children and all. People start screaming, but we didn't have a choice. That's where we had to standing up in the water for the whole night till the break.
Shelves.
You put the children
On the shelves. Two. Because we had 14 kids there the night. Just me and my sister, 14 kids.
My mommy put all them small children up
top of them be children in the cupboard because it'll be there and no more space to sleep, no more where to sleep, so she put us in the cupboard to sleep.
The dead of night. 160 mile per hour winds assaulting the pitch black. Torrential rain. A forest being stripped of its leaves, branches, and bark. Ravines transforming into raging torrents. Rivers with the power of the gods, and laden with debris. Barrel toward unsuspecting villages.
Literally outside right now. I'm protected by this wall because the wind is coming this way. So I'm protected by the wall. But guys, it is absolutely chaotic outside. You're not seeing much, but you can hear it for yourself.
The church roof on 7 days church. Go in. My neighbor roof. Go on. That is your shit. That old house there. Where there? Go man. Boy. Watch that. All you don't see what we seeing. It's rough in Dominica, boss.
You're not hearing that? Holy shit. Look at that. The roof raining, eh? What? Jesus, my phone, wet in. Come on. Look at that. No water start. See that?
When we return, the sun comes out to reveal the disaster that was Maria.
The project needs what? Block, sand, cement, BRC, and concrete. You all cannot find it. Lucius, moi brise toutes ces bagailles ça pour demain. Ek mani temps pour aller tout partout.
Parce qu'on a le coréen côté Renoir, nous connaissons tout bien dans seul roof gazon.
Awa, pas coréen, n'importe l'autre côté, mais pas coréen. Lucius, nous ha gaspillé un chaitan et puis gas caché ces matériaux ça. Mais ça pour faire encore. I need those materials for the guys to start working, or the project will not finish on time.
Tell to wait. When you do to buy, so go run the way.
Okay.
All right.
So this
the best hardware store that you're looking for.
Welcome to our savings. So how may I assist you?
Everybody don't know in Corinth, that's where we are. Reno is the best by far.
Yes, we have everything you need. Come with me.
Between the roof and floor, we got all you're looking for. More and more and more.
Eh ben ça, vrai, tout bagaille c'est Coreno.
Reno Construction and Industrial Products, Corinth Grocery.
The question we must ask is, how do I know that I am buying a quality window? Before making any purchasing decisions, we recommend visiting the company showroom where you can see, feel, touch, and operate life-size windows. Ask us what style and colors are available. Make sure you understand how they work, the ease of cleaning,
and if replacement parts are readily available. Inquire about our laminated safety glass and/or impact glass. Ask for a demonstration of the hardware, because not all windows are created equal, especially when it comes to casement or awning windows. Do not only select a window based on price, but rather safety, fit, finish, and a team of local professionals with over 38 years of experience. Come speak with us. They're your windows and your world.
70% of all health decisions are influenced by lab results. Delivery of accurate, reliable, and timely results has been our mandate for over 20 years. We are Laboratory Services and Consultations Limited, generating hundreds of lab tests each year while delivering quality, personalized, confidential service, one client at a time. With a reliable network of regional and international partners, all tests are conducted with patient care in mind. Laboratory Services and Consultations Limited, saving lives and caring for people. We focus on results so you can focus on what's important. Telephone 459-2200.
For the past 20 years, I've known them for quality tires, batteries, and mufflers. My sister introduced me to their service department. Now all I do is hand over the keys, walk away, and in 90 minutes, Team Rasco works their magic. They stocked all the original parts for my car, and best of all, their courtesy car came back for me. Now, my baby drives like new. Rasco. Tires, batteries, mufflers, and hassle-free servicing. Telephone 452-0945.
When I was called to do this job with Travis, and he handed me over the drawings, immediately looking for these drawings, I saw that we had some huge steel in there, 25mm, 32mm, and I had a little concern of how we're going to bend this. I immediately called Bryce and we discussed the project. I brought him a set of drawings and I just left it with him. When I was ready, I called him. Within 48 hours, he started delivering some of these columns for me. They are 12-meter long columns. And within 3 days, I was able to place 36 columns in the ground. And that has helped me move this job. If you see around you what you see there, that is 5 months construction on the ground. I'm doing this building in record time because of the steel Bryce have bent for me and supplied me on time.
So, you've been going around saying that you're cheaper and have a wider variety. Is that true or false?
True.
What services do they offer?
They supply trophies, name tags, acrylics, plaques, and medals.
Is that all?
Yes. Okay. They also produce wedding invitations, school uniforms, keepsakes, grave headstones, keychains, and they print t-shirts as well.
So when you leave here, what are you going to tell everyone?
That Trophy Center Plus is the one-stop shop for all plaques, awards, and sporting goods. And they're located at Sanssouci.
You better.
Trophy Center Plus. Telephone 452-4151.
It's Wednesday, September 20th, 2017. As dawn breaks, a satellite reveals the colossity of a slow-moving monster carrying a payload of heavy rainfall, and winds in excess of 175 miles per hour. In her wake, the sun rises over the sea and the Commonwealth of Dominica lays shattered. Its people overwhelmed and the devastation likened to a country ravaged by war. All cell phone and internet services had been destroyed. The radio station's satellites lay scattered and damaged, unable to provide communication to any part of the island. The television stations equally in ruin. Dominica was officially cut off from the outside world. What was once a bustling city, known for its strides in ecotourism, now resemble a post-apocalyptic scene.
When I woke up the next morning, what I saw was just something out of the movies. The neighbor roof was gone. Basically 90% of the houses in Melvin all were gone. Nobody knew what to say or do. Tears in people's eyes.
When daybreak now was towards the place, yeah, it was just in another island. Yeah, people couldn't believe it's Carib territory where we live. Yeah, it was just a mess. We had two houses, like two of them, both of them broke down. Broke down, flat down. This roof went out and the other one broke, flat down. All our bedding, all our clothes disappeared.
From the morning, the Tuesday morning, I went down to the health center. I had some people with some massive wounds, which I did sutured myself, and I could not get in contact with anybody, no telephone, no electricity, nothing. Everything was just done, so I had to do everything.
The roads are impassable. Vekas, Dodan, Paybush, Kulibistri were all cut off by landslides. Portsmouth was cut off from the capital and the thoroughfare to Soufrière impassable. Surveying the situation by sea was near impossible since the waters around the island were still boisterously churning. The nightmare was imprinted on every square inch of the once green natured territory. Injured trees punctuated the landscape. 80% of all electrical poles slumped or sagged. Buildings which once stood as fortresses were mere steel frames that barely stood erect. Residents were slowly emerging, navigating a minefield of zinc and other debris in search of loved ones and food. But with each step, the enormity of the inconceivable became a stark reality. A bird's eye perspective revealed the ruthlessness of Maria. While some took to the streets to survey the damage, others had more sinister motives.
Well, we are looking for more food and water because that is what we really need during the hurricane. Food, water, for us to survive because now you go in a lot of time shop don't go and open now. For us to say we have money to buy, we have money, we can't buy nothing to eat. The main spot where we're in the big storeroom of fine food is there where everybody go. and we get things, we get water, we start to check. Is that all of us?
Things are bad, things have never been so sad. Mama work, mama travel, still in the morning.
You want to think it's about food. You want to think that people are fearful that the storm has come and there won't be food to feed their families and whatever. But it took a sinister twist because people were looting for furniture and flat screen TVs and all this kind of thing, and destroying businesses that are now required for reconstruction. People walking around with sofas and all this kind of thing, and flat screen TVs where there's no electricity. I think it speaks to the core of our society, what we've become.
Yeah, there was some looting going on, but not as much as the social media wanted to be. I mean, from earlier o'clock, the guys started looting the grocery stores and things, and I guess it escalated afterwards. But I mean, the way people say that cars were looted and this and that are not true. I own a car dealership, and none of the cars were stolen, and they said they stole 10 from me. I lose one.
While the looters were at play, the survivors traded stories of an unforgettable night. Search parties were coming up empty-handed, and the scent of death was ubiquitous. 27 people were confirmed dead, and 45 missing as a direct result of Hurricane Maria's brutality.
Yakira and Destiny Joseph were cousins of Ocean Joseph. They all lived in this house in Loubier.
They told us get up from the bed fast, and my daddy carried me and put me on top the cupboard because the water was coming inside and it filled up the house almost halfway, and then we just wait and in a little while Sylvester he tell his children to go upstairs, and then when they go upstairs, they didn't go straight upstairs. They go in the little house, and in the little house was the place where Kyra and Destiny died. And Destiny was the first one to die. She was small, like 4 years old, and she was close to the edge where the river was, and the river come inside a little bit, and the little house fall down on them, and then Destiny fall down in the river and she go down in the sea or crush between stones. And then Kyra, the taller one, the bigger one, like 15 years old, she was falling down but she hold her mother's foot. And Roquan, he big, he was holding me their mother's foot, and Dana, the biggest one, the oldest one, was holding Roquan's foot, but Dana, she was pulling too much. And then when she pulling too much, Roquan hand slide from Milia, and Milia, the mother, and Kyra, they fall down, and Kyra, she squish, and Milia, she just fall down on the side and get a big hole in her foot, reaching to her bones. And then Milia climbed back a tree, and everybody had come outside, and then they go upstairs and stay. And then after that, me and my daddy and Uncle Albert was still downstairs with Sylvester. Sylvester was squeezing, and Uncle Albert, they're bursting the counter for Sylvester to come out, and then Sylvester just slide out, and then my daddy took me out from the cupboard, from the shelf, and put me on a door that high. But then Sylvester said, "Come, let's go." We burst the door to come out. And then when we was waiting to go outside, the water was coming back inside fully. So we had to escape fast, and then we escaped. We go on the roof and go by our neighbor, Auntie Maria.
Dominica's rivers snake through its hills and valleys. For eons, natives have learned to coexist with the power of the tributaries. Houses were built on riverbanks, not as an exception, but more as a rule. Residents living in the path of these waterways were given ample warning of impending danger. Yet, Jerome Daniel, Marie Delmore, Medora Williams, Jashon Barron, and 6 other family members failed to take heed.
People that got killed were staying just in the corner of that ravine up there, which I believe they caused their death. I had a grand nephew. We made the body just down there, very clean and nice, no debris on him, and he just lie down like he come out and live in the sea. When we saw that, I burst in tears, and they brought the body under my veranda. Okay, they brought the body under my veranda, and then make a quick coffin because we had to bury them the same day. For that matter, we make 3 coffins by me there.
My uncle, my uncle's sister and the entire family were the ones who were washed away. All during the night, my uncle kept calling them and asking them to leave the house, and only to find out that they never left.
They had 9 persons out. They had the mother with one of the son. That's my brother, actually my brother, one of the son. And they had the 2 other daughters. Each of them had 2 little child with them. So all the 9 of them. One daughter with a boy and a son, and the other daughter with 2 with a boy and a son and her boyfriend. One body alone is fine. Is the Maureen. The brother won her how many times, mother? How many times the brother come right there and won her, my boy? And she still come out. Your son, Dave, even come and tell her, come with them and me. Because David tell her they're not safe. Her son come, look at son, her son saying just up there, you know. With purpose with his father. The father said, tell her, come and meet her. I don't know whether that was at what, I don't know, trust me.
By the 20th of September, Dominica made contact with the outside world and declared a state of emergency. Judging from the images sent in by photographer James Judah, the outside world got a clear indication of the island-wide devastation. The government machinery slowly roared back into life. The Prime Minister made an appearance on Antigua Broadcast Service to update the world on the situation in Dominica. Within days, the Americans, the French, the British, the Trinidadians, SEDIMA, along with the regional security services, were all on the ground, distributing aid and assisting with security.
We have had massive looting. Several business places in the city of Roseau and to a lesser extent in the town of Portsmouth had lootings.
The authorities went one step further.
At 4 p.m., residents must be at the houses, at the homes. When the police patrols the streets and finds anybody outside without a permit to be on the streets, they will be arrested.
While they were out in full force, the hospital, though damaged, was stitching together a care plan for the influx of Maria casualties.
We have seen about 500 patients at the hospital, and that is patients coming in through accident and emergency since the passage of Hurricane Maria. And the majority of those patients, especially in the early days, were patients coming in with injuries and complaints related directly to the effects of the hurricane. And as the days are passing, we're seeing now more patients coming in with chronic illnesses like the high blood pressure and diabetes that are not controlled due to medications being lost, medications having gotten wet, or just the conditions worsening because of the stress of the situation.
The Red Cross, located a stone throw away from the hospital, was a scene of disorganized distribution, and understandably so.
Can you get?
Why?
You don't see the way they're fighting? Look at mine, I got 6 stitches in it. Bye-bye, have a nice day. I'm gonna work. I'm going to do no time, I'm going to do our work. Okay, bye-bye.
Well, it's not too bad. It's going on all right because things are very tough, you know, because you have to try the best to help us out, you know.
Well, the resupplies are just arriving now. It has been a little slow at first, but it's just starting arriving now. And Dominica needs a lot of relief. Yeah, we need a lot of relief down here.
Nearly 2 weeks after the hurricane, the situation remained dire. All businesses are closed. Finding a grocery store is almost impossible. And when you do find one, the shelves are bare. Bands of young people have taken to strong-arm robbery of food supplies being transported from the port. A bottle of water has become a precious commodity, and in some cases, currency. Medication is in short supply. Long lines stretch outside the very few petrol stations intended to service the entire nation.
I've run out of petrol, my vehicle has run out of petrol, and I need my vehicle to go for water, to go to the river to wash some of my clothes that got damaged by the hurricane, wet by the hurricane. So that's why I'm here. I'm from right Kalinago territory.
Government should come in that and regularize things. Put things in place, put police to protect, to control everything, and make sure gas station should be opening time to time.
With all banks closed and no electricity, access to save cash is impossible. Simple purchases such as roofing materials, windows, sanitary napkins, and protein-rich foods seem impossible. The malaise of post-disaster secondary problems is also causing a massive exodus to the neighboring islands. When we return, the Americans, the British, and the French rescue their citizens. Regional neighbors come bearing gifts, and a Cicero's view of a leafless woodland.
When I was called to do this job with Travis, and he handed me over the drawings, immediately looking for these drawings, I saw that we had some huge steel in there, 25 millimeter, 32 millimeters, and I had a little concern of how we're going to bend this. I immediately called Bryce, and we discussed the project. I brought him a set of drawings, and I just left it with him. When I was ready, I called him. Within 48 hours, he started delivering some of these columns for me. They are 12-meter long columns. And within 3 days, I was able to place 36 columns in the ground. And that has helped me move this job. If you see around you what you see there, that is 5 months construction on the ground. I'm doing this building in record time because of the steel Bryce have bent for me and supplied me on time.
Six clicks and it's off.
We still a win, we still a win. We still a win. Them girl keep the black thing shining. We still a win.
It's incredible. You couldn't write a script like this. Stand by this spot.
We still a win. Them you know say a worldwide thing. Hear me? We still a win.
He goes for the keeper. He could score. He does.
Right now, we still a win. We still a win. We still a win. Them you know say a worldwide thing. Them a pray for me. Na.
Trophy Center Plus. Telephone 452-4151.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
Let the light guide your way. Yeah. Hold every memory as you go, and every road you take will always lead you home. Oh, it's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
the first family of fine foods.
If you're HIV positive or have an STI, having unprotected sex with multiple partners puts them in grave danger. You'll expose every partner and their present and future partners to HIV or another STI. Use a condom every time you have sex. You can live a productive life even if diagnosed with HIV. Remember, early detection is key to your survival. Be responsible, protect yourself and others. Help stop the spread of HIV and other STIs.
To say the 2017 Atlantic hurricane season has been an active one would be an understatement. There have been 15 tropical depressions, 14 tropical storms, 9 hurricanes, 5 of which have been ranked Category 3 and above. 335 lives have been sacrificed to Mother Nature's fury, and a bill of $224 billion of damage stacked up, making 2017 season the costliest on record. The hurricane season no longer respects the conventional calendar, as demonstrated with Tropical Storm Ali in April. The season also chronicled multiple rainfall records in Texas from Hurricane Harvey and documented another anomaly when Tropical Storm Brett struck Trinidad, a country rarely impacted by tropical cyclones due to its low latitude. The question remains, why so many storms with increasing intensity? Well, consider this. We have a very warm Atlantic Ocean with 85-degree temperatures that go very, very deep. We also have very humid air in this region, and the lack of wind shear with no El Nino or La Nina in the Pacific to provide the capacity to tear these hurricanes apart. The Brotherhood of the 8 territories which form the OECS was alive, and although each economy has its own unique challenges, the brothers stand together during times of disaster.
$1 million EC to Anguilla and $250,000 to St. Kitts and Nevis to assist them in response to this storm. The board of directors of the bank, that suggestion didn't come from me, but the board of directors of the bank suggested that Dominica should have received a contribution for the damage at the Douglas Childs Airport, but I respectfully declined the offer of assistance to Dominica because, this is what has happened in all the territories is complete, is extremely pale, the devastation in our member territories.
That was on September 13th. Less than a week later, Mother Nature would decimate the Nature Isle, leaving her in over $51 billion in debt. Like true neighbors, White Tikabuli's brothers came bearing gifts. In the aftermath of the storm, thousands of foreign nationals were trapped on the island with no electricity, no running water, and a dwindling food stock. 150 Canadian students from Ross University had to be transferred by sea to St. Lucia.
For the entire storm. Her face, I saw her face at 2:30 in the morning. Her face was just red from the wind, not from crying, just from the wind in her face.
Hundreds of Dominicans packed the port almost on a daily basis, trying to flee the mud, malaise, and miserable post-apocalyptic living conditions left by Maria. With relief supplies being donated by regional and international organizations to many residents, in the weeks after the storm, it simply can't arrive soon enough.
Although I need a covering just for me to just squeeze myself with my children. And then if I could get even a tarpaulin, I could just put it on the galvanized that get damaged. Just a struggle because we have to be in a hurricane shelter down there. Until it's not 100%, as I told you, there's no windows. All the louvers went away. So we had to, it's just as though it's just camping. You know, on plywood we have to be sleeping in the hurricane shelter. We do see nobody with blanket, not shit, nothing do come in our way yet. No, we do see nothing yet.
We still have some people who have not gotten any assistance. I would stress that they take care of the pregnant women and especially women with children, with newborns, because even at my home I have a 3-month-old infant, and there are others. There are a lot of pregnant women, there are people with children who I would really like them to take care of, and especially the elderly as well.
We got kitchen sets and hygiene sets, paracetamol and small medication for the smaller children, and water for the adults, blankets.
From the Kalinago territory, through the rainforest and all the way to Canefield, Hurricane Maria assaulted Waitikabouli's beautiful green coat of forest. Ferns and palms have been stripped of their fronds. Hardwood trees snapped in half like twigs. What was once a blanket of emerald green draped across the mountainous landscape is now a brown pile of detritus. But, like the cell phone towers, electrical poles and satellite dishes will rise again. So will the rainforest. After all, hurricanes have been menacing this region for millennia. The education services also took a beating from Hurricane Maria. Re-roofing, retooling, and enrolling students, all processes that will occur in time. But the region's harmonized education timetable and syllabi allow special arrangements to be made for the Commonwealth's children. Long after the relief supply stopped, the children who survived Maria will have to come to terms with their loss. Compared to adults, children may face even more difficulty processing post-disaster emotional trauma.
What we do normally here is maybe sing songs at night, ask them questions as they go by, maybe to take off their mind from the fear that they experience. I don't know what else I can do.
Some of our kids are traumatized. I had to send my kid away because he cannot live like that. He's afraid of even entering into his room because it's like the hurricane was in his room, so he had to leave. It's rough. It's really, really rough because that's not how we knew things. I mean, we had everything, all the convenience of life, we had it. But now it's like everything being taken away from us. Then it's like it just reminded me as to, is that the way our ancestors used to live?
The electricity, to charge your phone, and all of a sudden, you cannot WhatsApp, that kind of thing. So that's a little bit challenging.
I think the world can know that Dominicans, we are going to try our best. We are not going to make this thing destroy us. We are going to rise and we are going to rebuild even stronger, because I'm hearing a number of persons are saying now that they are going to rebuild with concrete roofs. So I don't think this is going to destroy us. It's going to deter us for a little while, but I think we are going to do wonders. And it has brought a number of persons together. I've seen neighbors helping neighbors, rich, poor, just helping. And it's sad that the disaster to bring us even closer, but I think it also was a blessing in disguise.
The short-term, long-term and medium effect of Maria and Dominica was
total devastation of most of the infrastructure. And in terms of people's personal lives, I would say 80 to 90% of people were affected in terms of the roof, flooding, the damage to doors, windows, and so on. Even loss of loved ones, injuries, and so on. A loss of crops in their farm, loss of their total business. As you can see, churches were devastated, schools, and so on. So it will take us some time to come back. Half of what we were. It will take us the next 10 years to restore us just to where we were.
When we return, we examine the financial side of disaster recovery, alternative construction methods, and the role, function, and problems surrounding storms and insurance.
I've been dealing with Bryson Company for a number of years now, and I've found Bryson Company to be extremely reliable. When it comes to delivery, they're extremely timely, and the customer service is second to none. The quality of the products would be on par with any other. From start to finish, Bryson Company can supply you with your needs. Martins for the columns themselves, the beams, the roof, the guttering. Bryson Company has it all. And trust me, you will have no regrets patronizing Bryson Company.
Life is a series of triumphs and trials. The circle of life has all the usual certainties and, of course, the unpredictable. Just one can affect you and your loved ones. Sadly, many fail to prepare for the unforeseen. Thankfully, we've been here for over 138 years, helping you plan and recover. We offer peace of mind at that critical moment. GTM Insurance, sound, solid, and reliable. Call us today at 458-6300 or log on to gtminsurance.net.
When persons with TB sneeze or cough, healthy persons nearby breathe in the droplets and the bacteria can lodge in their lungs. People with weakened immune systems such as HIV/AIDS, alcohol and drug users, smokers, children, and the elderly are most susceptible. Persons with a cough should take precautions when in contact with persons in public places. Cover your mouth when sneezing and coughing. Visit your doctor or health center. You must complete your treatment. TB can be cured even with HIV. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB and HIV. Protect yourself and others.
The first Category 5 hurricane was recorded in 1924. From then till 2017, 33 Category 5 hurricanes have been recorded. A Category 5 hurricane packs winds in excess of 157 miles an hour. From year 2000 to 2009, the Caribbean and the US mainland experienced 8 Category 5 hurricanes. Isabel in 2003, Ivan in 2004, Hurricane Katrina, Rita, Emily, and Wilma all struck in 2005. Then Dean and Felix in 2007. The brutal 2017 season was a horrendous reminder of the huge vulnerability of the small island developing states of the OECS to hurricanes. Experts believe that the greatest defense and precaution of property against a hurricane is insurance. Selecting the right policy, signing up with a financially solid and customer-centric insurance company, while avoiding common errors when procuring coverage. Blunders like not understanding the difference between replacement cost versus value, for example, can impact a homeowner's cost after a major storm. Building a house comparable to the one which was destroyed by the storm may cost much more than the house is worth, especially if you have upgraded the structure since initial construction. Remember that the cost of reconstruction post-disaster may be significantly greater because of supply and demand of materials and construction labor.
Some of the errors persons make when opting for insurance includes underinsuring, and that is simply understating the value of their property. Okay. The danger of underinsuring is that at the time of a loss, you may not be able to recover adequately, simply because the cost of repair may simply not be enough to put you back where you were previously. Okay, my advice would be that you keep the lines of communication between you and the insurer open. You let us know of all the changes you have made to your property, which may include the erection of a retaining wall. Maybe you might have placed a carport just across your main dwelling, or even maybe fencing or some alterations or renovations to that property. You will need to inform us, because we want to get you to the point where in the event you have a loss, we can give you sufficient compensation that will put you back exactly where you were.
The colossal misconception about insurance is that not being a property owner does not entitle one to insure their possessions therein.
Under a standard comprehensive homeowners policy, contents is automatically included. However, most times persons may take a contents policy alone simply because they do not own the property. Contents insurance generally extends to cover your personal belongings, furniture, and electronics. We have seen in recent times the importance of insuring your contents, because sometimes this is all you own. One of the oversights we see in our daily operations is that people may understate the cost of their contents, not taking into account simple things that add up. For example, cutlery, pottery, rugs, linen, all these things still make up a significant amount.
The conjuncture of one's country, town, or village actually being hit by a hurricane and their home being destroyed is a gamble many homeowners take. The financial inconvenience of paying out premium costs yearly, never to receive a benefit until something goes awry, is a deterrent for some to procure insurance, and a risk most are willing to take.
The Guyana and Trinidad group of companies offered a bonus comprehensive policy, and that basically gives the client a rebate of 30% of what they've paid to their policy after every 2 years. Upon renewal on the third year, they may apply that bonus to their premium, or they may apply for it and receive it as a payment or a bonus. We are not the loudest, not the biggest, neither are we the oldest. We are just 138 years, but we care the deepest for our clients. GTM is human-centric. We know our clients by names and not numbers. We continue to consistently provide insurance services to the highest ethical and professional standard across the Caribbean.
With precision, brutality, and randomness, Maria's winds surgically extracted thousands of Dominican roofs. A panorama of every town and village revealed the Achilles heel of most homes. With storms of growing intensity, industry roofing professionals are employing innovative techniques for greater roof protection, like roofs with multiple slopes, which perform better under wind forces than gable roofs. Bryce & Company, one of the region's leading roofing manufacturers, was there to stitch thousands of roofs in Grenada post-Hurricane Ivan in 2004. Their signature is the metal standing seam roofing system, which offers superior design flexibility, durability, low maintenance cost, and the greatest protection against gale force winds. These roofs act as a monolithic surface covering the entire building and is impervious to rain due to its interlocking design and surface finish. But reconstruction after any disaster must be a comprehensive approach that protects homeowners from potential future damage.
The level of devastation in Dominica far exceeded what I saw a number of years ago when we had Ivan and Grenada. So I have never seen devastation of that nature before. You know, it calls for an opportunity for us to revisit the building codes and redesign building codes to suit the times that we're in terms of the magnitude of the hurricanes that we're beginning to see. You know, the stakeholders, the engineers associations, the industry professionals, roofing contractors, general contractors, the insurance agencies, the planning departments of various governments, the building inspectors, is going to have to come together and develop a code, a building code that will reflect the signs of the times in terms of the sort of winds that we have. And I think if that's done, we certainly can build to better withstand winds of that nature when they visit us. Method of installation is key. We have that experience, we've worked with people with that sort of experience, and we will do everything that we can to get homeowners and contractors to adhere to, you know, the building practices that will enable the roofs to withstand, you know, winds of that nature. You know, having been around for over, you know, 16, 17 years, we understand, you know, the need to have quality. We understand the need to give quality service, and, you know, we have thrived on that, and we will continue to make that, you know, a big part of our services.
The names Irma and Maria shall forever be etched into the annals of Caribbean history through the assault of the winds. Rainfall measured in feet, the unimaginable devastation, the lives lost, economies crippled, the assistance from regional and international agencies, yet the resilience of a people, the reconstruction process, the insurance payouts, and a rebirth of nations, better and stronger, all emerged as positive factors after the 2017 storms. September 18, 2017, Dominica felt Mother Nature's fury. The lessons reverberate throughout the region for greater preparedness, adherence to best practices, insurance as a financial cushion, and health and safety precautions for the preservation of life and property, and adequate preparedness for the next potential Category 5.
The fool has never been